Okay, so today we're gonna be multiplying and dividing rational expressions. All right, so it's very similar to just simplifying rational expressions. It's just that you're gonna have more things on top and on the bottom, but the concept is pretty much the same thing. Okay, so let's try to do this. I'm like always. I always try to factor whenever possible. I'm gonna try to factor any of the numerators or any of the denominators. So anything that is factorable, I'm gonna go ahead and factor it. Because we know that we could only simplify the factors, not when there's addition or subtraction, like in this case going on. Okay, so I want to try to factor this right here, right? For that, I need to use the greatest common factor, which is 5, and then what goes inside the parentheses, x minus 5 times x, 5x 5 times 1 gets you back to 5, so that's it right there. The 9 and the 3, nothing you can do about it. Same thing with the x minus 1. Can't factor this, so let's put the whole thing down here. 5 x minus 1 over 3 times 9 over x minus 1. And now I'm going to start simplifying. See, I could take out the x minus 1 because that's a whole factor, right? Take those two out. What else can I do here? I could also simplify the 3 and the 9. Divide by 3, 1. Divide by 3, 3. Okay, so whatever is left is going to be my answer. Just multiply whatever is on top, right? And then multiply by whatever is on the bottom. So I'm going to have 5 times 3, right? Because remember, when we multiply two fractions, right? The rule is to multiply the two numerators and then the two denominators, right? So I'm going to multiply what's left up there. 5 times 3 is 15. And then on the bottom I have only 1. So there's no point for you to put just over 1, right? So that right there would be my answer. Just 15 would be my answer, right? What about number 2? Okay, same thing, right? Just can't simplify this. Kind of factor this or this or this. The only thing that is factorable there is this x squared minus 9. That is a difference of squares. I'm going to take each square root and do x minus 3, x plus 3. Right, so what I have is 6x over x plus 3 times x minus 3, x plus 3 over 9x to the third. Right? You could always simplify anything on top with anything on the bottom. It could be like these two, or across, right? In this case, I notice I have x minus 3 that I can take out just like that, and then 9, 6, and 9, right? There's no plus or minus in between, so I'm going to go ahead and simplify by dividing each by 3. So it becomes 2, this becomes 3. And then what about the variables? I got x1 here, x3 down here, right? So you could at this point you could just simplify this one, take out the x, right? And then that's gonna take care of one of the x's right here, so this is gonna go down to x squared. Right? So it's like what we did before. We keep the variable where the highest exponent is, and then you subtract from here. 3 take away 1 is 2. So let's see what we got left then. Alright, so what is left on top? I have 2 times that. So just leave it like that, indicate it. 2 times x minus 3. That's what I got left on the top, right? And then on the bottom I got 3x squared. 3x squared. Always make sure there's nothing else they could simplify. Right? Always look at the answer, at your final answer, and make sure that there's, nothing that could be simplified. So for our case, this will be the answer right there. That will be my final answer. Okay, so let's look at our next example. I'm gonna try to factor everything that is factorable. So I'm gonna start with this numerator right here. Right, this is the easy type of trinomials. That's the one that you just put x and x in both parentheses, and then you figure out what numbers go along with those x's. In this case, I'm looking for two numbers that give you -6 when multiplied and combined to +1. That's to be what? +3 and -2. Right? 3 times -2 is -6, and 3 plus -2 is +1 right there. This denominator, the only thing possible to do there is take the greatest common factor, which is 4. So I'm gonna put 4. What goes inside the parentheses? 3x minus 4. Right? Same thing over here. GCF, what goes into both? 2. 3x minus 4. And then over here, what is the GCF for these two? X is common to both. Don't forget to always choose the smallest exponent between the two given. So what's going to go inside the parentheses? X to the third times what gives you x to the fourth? That'd be x. Plus x to the third times what gives you 3x to the third? That have to be 3. That's it. If you want, we could rewrite everything here that in factor form. X plus 3, x minus 2 over here, 4, 3x minus 4 times 2, 3x minus 4 over x to the third, x plus 3. So let's see what happens. Oh, forgot this. I want to start canceling. So I'm going to do x plus 3 down here with the x plus 3 up here. 3x minus 4 up here with this one here. Do you see anything else? Yeah, the 4 and the 2. That goes to 1 and this goes to 2. Okay, so what is left on top? That's it, x minus 2, right? I have x minus 2 left on top. What is left on the bottom? 2 times x to the third. 2x to the third. And that's going to be my answer. Okay, so let's try to do that one now. Okay, so I'm going to try to factor everything here. This one, GCF, what is the common factor? X, will be x, parentheses, x minus 2. Down here, that is the easy trinomials. Two numbers that give you positive 25 when you multiply and add up to -10, that's be -5 times -5, right? Or x minus 5 to the second. But I'm gonna leave it like that because I probably need it like this so I can take out the parentheses easy. So that's it right there. So what about this one here? That is a difference of two squares. X plus 5, x minus 5. And this is the easy trinomial. Two numbers that give you negative 10 when you multiply, and add up to positive 3, that's going to be positive 5, negative 2. Alright, so let's rewrite it down here. X minus 2, x minus 5, x minus 5, times x plus 5, x minus 5, x plus 5, x minus 2. Okay, so let's start canceling. Okay, so let's take, again, it could be anything on top with anything on the bottom. Alright, I see these two x plus 5, take them out. I see this x minus 2, take them out. I see x minus 5 here, it could be either one of these, let's take that one out. And that's it, whatever is left is my answer. So what is left on the numerator? X times, that's just x, over what's left on the bottom, x minus 5. Since it's the only thing, I'm going to leave it without parentheses. And that's my answer. Alright, let's look at our next example. So I got two trinomials, but these are the harder ones because it has a number by the x squared. So I need to use the crisscross. I'm gonna have 3x times x gives you 3x squared, and then 1 and 6 make the 6 negative. Right? 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. I'm gonna cross multiply to see if I got it right. 3x times negative 6 is negative 18. And then x times 1 is positive 1x, negative 18x, and positive 1x. Gives you negative 17x, which is my middle term. That means that I got the right numbers, 3x plus 1, and x minus 6. What about this one here? To get 6x squared, let's try 3x times 2x. And then for 3, I'm going to try negative 3 and positive 1. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Right? So I'm going to cross multiply. That gives you negative 9x. Let's put over here negative 9x. And that gives you positive 2x. Combine them. That is 7x, that matches my middle term. That means I got the right numbers and the right order, so just put them in parentheses and we're done. What about here? GCF, what goes into 8 and 12? 4 times 2x minus 3, right? This is the easy trinomial, right? Don't need to use the crisscross, just x and x. Two numbers that give you positive 2 when you multiply and add up to negative 8, that's to be negative 6 and negative 2. Negative 6 plus negative 2 is positive 12, negative 6 plus negative 2 is negative 8. So let's regroup down here. I got 3x plus 1 times x minus 6. And then I have 3x plus 1, 2x minus 3, times 4, 2x minus 3, x minus 6, x minus 2. So let's start canceling things out. So I notice these two right here. Again, it could be anything on top with any on the bottom. And then these two right here. And then these two right here. And that's it. What's left on top? just the what's left on top, just the 4, right? 4 over what's left on the bottom, just x minus 2. And that's going to be my answer. Okay, so our next example is going to be a division example, alright? It's pretty much the same thing, but only keep in mind that you have to flip this, and from there you turn that into multiplication, right? You could either do it at the beginning or after you're done factoring. So let me do it by, let me factor first and then I'm going to flip it. These two cannot be simplified, so I'm going to go ahead and try to factor this right here. I know this 7a squared is my GCF. 7a squared times a gives you 7a to the third plus 7a squared times 8 gives you 56a squared. And this is the easy trinomial, a in both, and then positive 8 and negative 1, right? 8 times negative 1 gives you negative 8, and then 8 plus negative 1 gives you positive 7 right there. So now I'm gonna flip it. This one you have to rewrite the same way it is right there. 7 a to the second over 7 a to the second times a plus 8. Now you gotta change that to times. You could put an x. Either one is right. Let's put an x for now, since I don't have an x variable. And then you flip the second one. A plus 8, a minus 1 under 3. Okay? Really simple. Very much the same, only you need to change this 2 times and flip the second one only. And then I'm going to try to cancel things out. Okay, I notice I could take this whole thing out with this one. The 8 plus 8, right, and that's it. What's left on top? Just a minus 1, and what's left on the bottom? Just the 2. So that's going to be my answer, a minus 1 over 2. Okay guys, let's do just one more example, alright? So I'm going to factor this, difference of 2 squares, so I'm going to have x plus 5 times x minus 5. Over here, GCF 2 times x minus 1, trinomial. Two numbers that give you 25 and add up to 10, that would be positive 5 and positive 5. 5 times 5, 25, 5 plus 5 is 10. And this one is two numbers that gives you negative 5 when you multiply and add up to 4, that's be positive 5 and negative 1. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5, and then 5 minus 1 is 4. Okay, so now I'm going to rewrite everything. Don't forget to flip it and change that. So I'm going to have x plus 5, x minus 5 over 2 x minus 1 times, flip it, so x plus 5 x minus 1 x plus 5 x plus 5, and that's it. So now we try to cancel things out. So I'm going to have, so over here I notice these two, these two, and these two. So at the end, what is left? X minus 5 x minus 5, that is the only thing left up there, over just the 2. Thus the answer.